just to be here. The crowd are on their feet. They're roaring him on. Is it his 4th world record of the year?
Yes!
Oh, yes!
Yes!
Oh, yes! Oh, yes!
On September 15th, 2025, in Tokyo, Japan, one man jumped over a bar set at 6.30 meters high. That's taller than a giraffe. No human had ever done this before, and honestly, most people thought it was impossible. His name is Armand Duplantis, but everyone calls him Mondo. He's 25 years old, and he just broke the world record for the 14th time in his career. Let that sink in. 14 times. Most athletes never break a world record once. Mondo does it like it's his day job. When he cleared that bar in Tokyo, it bounced. The whole stadium held their breath. If it fell, the record attempt was over. But it stayed up. Mondo jumped off the mat and straight into the arms of the second-place finisher, a Greek vaulter named Emmanuel Karalis. The crowd went absolutely wild. After the jump, Mondo said he was at a loss for words. He told everyone in the stadium, "I'm just so happy." For this world record, he won $70,000 for the victory, plus a $100,000 bonus just for breaking the record. Not a bad night's work. So who is this guy, and how did he get so good at flying through the air? Mondo started pole vaulting when he was just 4 years old. His family had a pole vault pit right in their backyard in Louisiana. Most kids have swing sets. Mondo had a full pole vault setup. He would spend hours out there, jumping and practicing. In high school, Mondo was a star. During his freshman year in 2015, he set national records and won awards. That same year, he made a huge decision. He chose to compete for Sweden instead of the United States. Even though he was born and raised in Louisiana, he loved Sweden. He spent every summer there with his Swedish grandparents. Plus, the Swedish national team coach invited his dad to be a coach too. That sealed the deal. At his first competition for Sweden, the 2015 World Youth Championships, Mondo won gold with a jump of 5.30 meters. He was only 15 years old. From there, things just kept getting better. In 2016, he cleared 5.49 meters and became the first high school athlete to vault 18 feet indoors. In 2017, he jumped 5.90 meters at the Texas Relays and broke the world junior record by a massive 10 centimeters. In 2018, when he was just 18 years old, he won his first major senior championship at the European Championships in Berlin. He jumped 6.05 meters. That made him the youngest person ever to win a men's field event in the 84-year history of that championship. He also became the youngest person ever to join the exclusive 6-meter club. Even the great Sergei Bubka, who was considered the best pole vaulter ever, didn't clear 6 meters until he was 21. Mondo went to Louisiana State University for 1 year. He set both the indoor and outdoor college records. He won championships. He dominated. Then in 2019, he decided to turn professional. He was ready for the big stage. And that's when the world record breaking started. On February 8, 2020, in a city called Torun in Poland, Mondo cleared 6.17 meters. That broke the world record that had stood for almost 6 years. The old record belonged to a French vaulter named Renaud Lavillenie, who was actually Mondo's childhood hero. 1 week later, Mondo broke his own record by jumping 6.18 meters in Glasgow, Scotland. Since then, he's broken the world record 12 more times. Here's the pattern. Every time he breaks it, he only raises the bar by 1 centimeter. That's less than half an inch. Why? Because he gets a big bonus every time he sets a new record. His main sponsor is Puma, the sports company. After his 13th world record, Puma joked on Instagram, "Please give us a rest." But here's what's really wild. Nobody else has even come close to these heights. Since Mondo broke Lavillennie's 6.16-meter record, no other athlete has jumped higher than that old mark. Mondo is out here alone in a completely different league. In 2021, he won his first Olympic gold medal in Tokyo. The Olympics were delayed by a year because of the pandemic, but Mondo showed up and dominated. He cleared 6.02 meters and won easily. His competitor, an American vaulter named Chris Nielsen, said competing against Mondo was like a regular football player trying to be like Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo. He called Mondo's dominance impressive and ridiculous. In 2022, Mondo broke the world record 3 times in 1 year. He won the World Indoor Championships, the the World Outdoor Championships, and the European Championships. He also won the Diamond League title. The Diamond League is a series of the best track and field competitions around the world. That year, he jumped 6 meters or higher 23 times. Nobody had ever done that before. At the end of 2022, he was named World Athlete of the Year. He won that same award in 2020, 2023, and in a different category in 2024. Only 3 athletes in history have won it 3 times. The 2024 Paris Olympics might be his most famous moment yet, at least before Tokyo 2025. On August 5, 2024, in a packed stadium in Paris, Mondo defended his Olympic title. First, he cleared 6 meters easily, then he cleared 6.10 meters, which broke the Olympic record. But he wasn't done. He had the bar raised to 6.25 meters. The crowd started chanting, "Mondo, Mondo, Mondo." He missed his first 2 attempts. On his 3rd and final try, he flew over the bar and set his 9th world record. After the jump, Mondo said, "I haven't processed how fantastic that moment was. It's one of those things that don't really feel real. Such an out-of-body experience. What can I say? I just broke a world record at the Olympics, the biggest possible stage for a pole vaulter. The biggest dream since I was a kid was to break the world record at the Olympics, and I've been able to do that in front of the most ridiculous crowd I've ever competed in front of." He also became only the 2nd man ever to win 2 Olympic gold medals in pole vault. The first was an American named Bob Richards, who won in 1952 and 1956. In April 2025, Mondo won the Laureus World Sportsman of the Year award. That's one of the biggest awards in all of sports. He's the only field athlete ever to win it. The only other track and field athlete to win it was Usain Bolt. By the time Mondo got to Tokyo in September 2025 for the World Championships, he had already broken the world record 3 times that year. He went into the competition with 102 career jumps over 6 meters. The next best vaulter in history, Sergei Bubka, had only 46. In Tokyo, Mondo won his 3rd straight world title. He cleared 6.15 meters to secure the gold medal. Then it was time for the world record attempt. The bar went up to 6.30 meters. He missed the first try. He missed the second try. Everything came down to one final attempt. Mondo sat down for about 5 minutes. He chalked up his hands. He stood up and stared down the runway. Then he ran. His top speed reached over 35 kilometers per hour. That's about 22 miles per hour. He planted the pole, launched into the air, and flew over the bar. It bounced, but it stayed up. History was made. His dad and coach, Greg, said afterward, "I believe in him. I believed he was going to make it on the last one. You've got to believe." The secret to that final jump? Mondo's dad told him to use a stiffer pole. For his earlier world records from 6.20 meters to 6.29 meters, he used the same pole. But for 6:30, they switched to something stiffer. It worked. Mondo has now won 97 out of 101 competitions since 2020. He's won 49 straight meets. He hasn't lost outside of the Diamond League since 2020. When he competes, people don't just watch to see if he'll win. They know he'll win. They watch to see if he'll break the world record again. Mondo Duplantis isn't just breaking records. He's rewriting what we thought humans could do. At just 25 years old, he's already the greatest pole vaulter who ever lived. And he's not slowing down. The question isn't if he'll break the record again. The question is when and how high he'll go next. Quincy Wilson just ran faster than any teenager in history, and he's not even old enough to drive alone yet. On July 13th, 2025, something special happened at the Ed Murphy Classic in Memphis. A 17-year-old high school student ran the 400 meters in 44.10 seconds. That might sound like just another race, but this run made Quincy Wilson the fastest teenager ever to run this distance. No one under 18 has ever run faster.
Inside is coming, inside is coming. Can Wilson hold on? It is going to be Quincy Wilson!
Let's talk about how fast this really is. Wilson didn't just beat other teenagers. He beat Olympic champions. He beat professional runners who train for a living. Stephen Gardner, who won the Olympic gold medal in the 400 meters, was in the same race. Wilson destroyed the competition. The second-place finisher came in almost 0.3 of a second behind him. In sprinting, that's a huge gap. Wilson started in lane 5 and ran like he had something to prove. After the race, he said, "I went out there and shot out like a bullet." He controlled the first 200 meters, then pushed harder in the final stretch. It looked easy. But breaking records never is. This wasn't even his first world record. Wilson has now broken the under-18 record 4 different times. Last July, his best time was 44.20 seconds. He just took another 1/10 of a second off.
It's record books wherever he goes, side by side with Bryce Deadman. Pushing for the line. Wilson and Deadman headed to Paris, and they meet the line at the...
That might not sound like much, but in track and field, every 100th of a second matters. Here's what makes this even more impressive. Wilson is now the second fastest under-20 runner in history. The only person ahead of him is Steve Lewis, who won the 1988 Olympic gold medal when he was 19. Wilson is chasing that record too. Right now, Wilson ranks as the 4th fastest 400-meter runner in the entire world for 2025. Not just for teenagers, not just for Americans, for everyone. Only 3 people have run faster this year, and they're all professional athletes. But who is Quincy Wilson? How did a high school kid become this good? Wilson was born on January 8, 2008 in Chesapeake, Virginia. His parents are Monique and Roy Wilson. He has an older sister named Cadence. When Quincy was 8 years old, he started running track. Even then, people could see he was special. His family believed in him so much that they moved from Virginia to Maryland. Why? So Quincy could attend Bully School, one of the best schools for young athletes. The Wilson family knew good coaching and competition would help Quincy grow, and grow he did. When he was only 14, Wilson broke a national record that had stood for 30 years. The old record belonged to Obia Moore. Breaking a 3-decade-old record as a middle schooler told everyone this kid was different. Let's look at how Wilson improved year by year. In March 2022, when he was 14, he ran the 400 meters in 48.41 seconds. By August 2022, he had dropped his time to 47.77 seconds. He won his 5th AAU Junior Olympic Games title.
His track nationals. Now he's gapping a Bass in the final straightaway here. It's going to be Quincy Wilson trying to break 49 seconds. Let's see if he can do it. To the line here. He's going to do it. Wow, Quincy Wilson.
In 2023, Wilson kept getting faster. He won the New Balance Nationals indoor title in Boston with a time of 46.67 seconds. A few months later, he ran a 400-meter split of 45.06 seconds at the Penn Relays. He wasn't just winning anymore. He was competing at a level most high schoolers never reach. Then came 2024. This was the year everything changed. In March 2024, Wilson ran the 400 meters in 45.76 seconds at the New Balance Nationals indoor meet in Boston. This broke the national high school record. It also beat the official under-18 world best that had stood since 2017. Here's how crazy that time was. If Wilson had run that race at the 2024 World Indoor Championships against the best adult runners in the world, he would have finished 4th as a 16-year-old high school student. In July 2024, he ran 44.20 seconds outdoors. That made him the fastest teenager ever at that distance, and it got him noticed by the people who pick Olympic teams. At 16 years old, Wilson qualified for the 2024 Paris Olympics. He became the youngest male track and field athlete ever to represent the United States at the Olympics. On August 9, 2024, Wilson ran in the preliminary heats of the 4x400-meter relay. His family was there watching. After the race, Wilson said, "It was an amazing moment. I had my family in the stands. I wasn't 100% myself, but my team came out here and did it for me." Wilson ran the first leg of the relay in 47.27 seconds. That was almost 3 seconds slower than his personal best. He admitted he faded in the final 150 meters, but that's okay. He was 16 years old, running at the Olympics. His teammate Vernon Norwood ran the second leg. Norwood is 32 years old, twice Wilson's age. After the race, Norwood talked about what it was like running with such a young teammate. He said, "I was in the moment. watching a 16-year-old running in the Olympics, making history. I was very proud of him. Norwood also shared the advice he gave Wilson before the race. He told him, "Hey, embrace it. You belong here. This is a privilege. Nobody in this world gets this opportunity. So, make the most of it." Team USA won the gold medal in the 4x400 relay. Even though Wilson only ran in the heats, he earned a gold medal too. That made him the second youngest track and field Olympic gold medalist in history. After the Olympics, Wilson became famous. He threw the first pitch at a Baltimore Orioles baseball game wearing his gold medal. He stood at center field before a Ravens football game. He even visited the White House. But Wilson didn't let fame change him. He went back to high school. He still wakes up at 5 in the morning for school, even though he hates mornings. He goes to classes. He does homework. He practices in the afternoon. In February 2025, Wilson told CNN something interesting. He said, "I think I'm more focused in the classroom than I am on the track." That shows the kind of person he is. Yes, he's an Olympic champion. Yes, he's breaking world records, but he's still a student first. Wilson also shared his mindset about training. He said, "No gold medal. None of that is on my mind. When I'm practicing, I'm worrying about my future goals, nothing in the past. I can't go and change what I've done." That attitude is what separates good athletes from great ones. Wilson isn't satisfied with what he's already accomplished. He wants more. Wilson has built relationships with some of the best runners in the world. Rai Benjamin, who won the Olympic gold medal in the 400-meter hurdles, has become a mentor. Benjamin said, "He's just wise beyond his age. He has a great family, great management. It's great to watch him do his thing being so young." Benjamin also explained how he tries to help Wilson. He said, "I've been trying to give him pointers too, but I also try to keep my distance. You don't want to tell younger athletes too much because they can start overthinking." Vernon Norwood has continued guiding Wilson after the Olympics. Having 2 Olympic champions as mentors gives Wilson knowledge that most teenagers never get. So what's next for Quincy Wilson? In less than 3 weeks after his 44.10-second race, Wilson competed at the USA Track and Field Championships in Eugene, Oregon. This meet serves as the trials for the 2025 World Championships in Tokyo. The top 3 finishers in the 400 meters made up the team. But Wilson's real goal is bigger. The 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles are only 3 years away. Wilson will be 20 years old then, right in the prime age for 400-meter runners. Track and field has seen many young athletes burst onto the scene and then disappear. But Wilson is different. He's run under 45 seconds multiple times now. Even professional runners struggle to do that consistently. Wilson's story shows what's possible when talent meets hard work and the right support. His parents moved their family so he could train at the best school. His coaches developed his talent. His teammates and mentors guide him. And Wilson does the work every single day. The 44.10-second race in Memphis wasn't just about setting another record. It was Wilson showing everyone he's not done yet.
Gout's got a 5-meter lead. He might be holding on. Kennedy's coming home hard. Gout's got 50 meters left to go. Kennedy's trying to close the gap. The gap's getting shorter and shorter, but Gout's going to take the victory. What's the clock say? 46.18.
Gout Gout isn't just fast. He's redefining what speed looks like. At only 17, Australia's sprinting phenom has already rewritten records and stunned veterans around the globe. But his latest announcement? It's something no one saw coming, a bold move that's left fans wondering what's next for track and field's youngest superstar. Most high schoolers are worried about exams and graduation. Gout Gout, he's out here rewriting history. In his final school meet, the prestigious GPS Track and Field Championships in Brisbane, Gout didn't just run, he demolished. Opting out of his signature 200-meter event, Gout tackled the 400-meter and anchored the 4x100-meter relay. It was a bold move, but one that paid off. The stakes were already high. Earlier in the day, Seth Kennedy from Brisbane Grammar had broken Gout's own 200-meter GPS record with a blistering 20.64-second finish. The pressure was on, but Gout didn't flinch. Instead, he delivered a personal best in the 400 meters, clocking in at 46.14 seconds, a new meet record. Kennedy followed closely at 46.64, but Gout's performance stole the spotlight. It was more than a race. It was a legacy-defining moment. And he wasn't done yet. Moments later, Gout returned to the track to anchor Ipswich Grammar's 4x100-meter relay team. The result? Another record, 41.30 seconds. Another win. Another exclamation point at the end of a historic high school career. "This is the place where I found my speed," Gout said, reflecting on the Queensland Sport and Athletics Centre where it all began. "It definitely feels sad, but I'm definitely grateful. Grateful for the school that molded him, the friends who ran beside him, and the coach who guided him every step of the way." Over his time at Ipswich Grammar, Gout set at least 5 GPS records. But it's not just about times, it's about the journey and the way he carried himself through it. And what a journey it's been.
Now he's got a target. Menya moving away from him, Morizzi in the headband. A battle between these two, and Gout working so hard to get to him, and he gets there. Gout takes it by meter.
Gout's name started making national headlines months before his final school meet. He broke the Australian 200-meter record, a record that had stood for 56 years. That mark, set by Peter Norman during the 1968 Olympics in Mexico, finally fell when Gout clocked 20.04 seconds in Brisbane. And he wasn't finished. He later lowered it to 20.02. And in wind-assisted conditions, he went even further, 19.84 seconds. Just for context, that's faster than the junior times of sprint legends like Usain Bolt and Justin Gatlin. Let that sink in. Even the 100-meter couldn't hold him back. Under similar tailwind conditions, Gout dipped under the 10-second mark, an unofficial benchmark of world-class sprinting. Every race, every time, he wasn't just winning. He was redefining what was possible. Then came Tokyo.
Lavelle in front, he's winding up the first 3 to go through. Chiramba's there, and he goes through. He was shaky early.
At the World Athletics Championships, Gout made his international debut. Competing against the globe's elite, he didn't shy away. In the 200 meters, he reached the semifinals and finished 4th, running 20.36 seconds in the rain. He missed the final, but the experience was priceless. Semi-finalist and got to compete against the big guys. "I couldn't be prouder of myself," he said. That wasn't just humility talking, it was a signal. Gout Gout isn't a future star, he's already here. But after the adrenaline of world championships and national records, what comes next? That's what has fans buzzing and what makes his latest announcement so huge. He's done with school athletics. The red and white singlet of Ipswich Grammar is now a relic of the past, and Gout's setting his sights on the world stage.